flying almost like in a private jet. The Singapore Airlines first class suites are a class of their own above regular first class, because there's not just a first class seat here but a whole little room with an armchair, a table and an extra bed, like a hotel room above the clouds. Only a large private jet could top that. I'm Chris, and Travel Sing Fly is all about flying and traveling with joy, with lots of tips and detailed airline reports. And today we're going on this very special flight. But how is the real experience on board? What's the lounge like? How is the catering and how individual is the service? Lots of things are great here, but in two aspects you will see me not happy at all. Singapore Airlines is now again flying the Airbus A380 with its suites from Frankfurt across the Atlantic. So come with me to the Singapore Airlines first class suites. We are flying to New York. From Frankfurt, Singapore Airlines offers the first daily connection between Germany and New York early in the morning. But let's enter the lounge first, and here you have the choice between Lufthansa's Senator Lounge and Air Canada's Maple Leaf Lounge. Overlooking the apron, Air Canada's lounge is relaxed and has a beautiful interior design. There's also a large selection of drinks and of course tea and coffee. The breakfast buffet is not huge, but it's varied, including chocolate croissants, different yogurts, fruit and warm scrambled eggs. And here's today's star of the report, landing from Singapore, the Airbus A380 of Singapore Airlines, which will take us to New York in the first class suites. It arrived an hour late and takes almost 2 hours to continue, so no stress. In the early morning hours, the Lufthansa Senator Lounge is not a great choice because it's packed with all the people that go on early morning flights within Europe. However, this lounge over here, the Maple Leaf Lounge of Air Canada, is quite nice. It's quiet and calm, and you get a nice breakfast and you have a good view out to the plains. And if you have a first class ticket of Singapore Airlines, you have to know you have no access to the first class lounge of Lufthansa, because that's really reserved to Lufthansa and Swiss first class passengers and HON members of Lufthansa's Miles & More. If you want to have a look at the first class lounge, just look around in my channel. There's a video about my first class flight on Lufthansa from Frankfurt to Johannesburg with quite an extensive review of the lounge. So let's go now to the plane. I'm having the whole jetway to myself. Come on, I don't know anybody who's as happy as me now, really. And you know, I also like to fly low cost and economy class and of course business class, but this is first class suites. I mean, come on. It cannot be more beautiful like now. The Super Jumbo is ready to go, and when I entered the plane, I was really surprised. I was greeted at the door with my name before anyone even saw my boarding pass.
Wow! I can see.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Allow me, I'm Jenny. Middle.
Hi Jenny.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
The first impression is already very good. After boarding, everything went pretty fast. There was only time to put away my coat and bags and have a drink, and we were at the runway with almost no taxiing. But anyway, there would not have been more than a glass of champagne, or for me this early, a fruit cocktail as a welcome drink. So let's go straight to takeoff, and once again it's unbelievable how quietly this gigantic Airbus takes off. One thing I can say already now, the crew is just incredibly friendly and so proactive. Not just friendly, like train friendly, but really proactive. So they think a little for you, or for me in this case. They thought what could be nice for me. They saw that I would like to film. They didn't say no or anything, but they actually looked for things that would be even better for my film. And now look at this. The cabin behind me is empty. They lowered the wall already. I did not ask them to do that. They proposed that themselves. So I have a double cabin for myself. They already made the bed over there, and I will have a double bed a little later. So that's really quite amazing. Well, everything is going very fast right now, so we already got the appetizers, and Singapore Airlines doesn't have something luxurious or something as appetizer, but something really great, because luxurious doesn't need to be great, it's just luxurious. And they have Satay, so that's the marinated chicken skewers with peanut sauce. And as you can see, I already tried them and they taste really, really good. You know, it's crazy. We're flying from Frankfurt to New York, but I'm tasting Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and that's so great. And now look at this. Isn't this amazing? This space is just mind-blowing. This is how much space you get if you go as a couple or with a travel companion, or if you travel alone and the next seat, the next row is empty. The first and second row have this divider, so you can put that down and you have all this space to yourself. That's so amazing. I mean, this is not a hotel room. This is a plane. We are flying at, I don't know, 36,000 feet altitude. So, for the appetizer they have a choice of caviar or panna cotta with salmon. Well, actually I would have been really interested in the panna cotta and salmon, but this is for YouTube, right, and for Instagram, so it has to be caviar. And I'm quite surprised it's Ossieta caviar, because it said in the menu that it's going to be Malusol, but Ossieta is a clear category up from that. So, very nice, medium-sized gray pearls of fish eggs. That's what it is, fish eggs. So, they're kind of creamy again, not like popping up in your mouth, but creamy. And I mean, yeah, it's good, but you know, it would be really interesting to taste this with a Russian specialist or from somebody from Russia who's from the region where this is not overpriced, but just where people know about it. That would be really interesting. I would like to learn. Egg yolk, egg white, all cut in small pieces. I have no idea why you do it like this, but you do it like this. So we do it like this. And I have to say, actually it's quite a decent amount of caviar. It didn't look like that first, but it's really a nice amount. I'm quite surprised. If you like my flight and travel reports, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it right now with the bell notification. It costs you just one click. I'm really happy, and you're making a big difference for the future of this channel. So, and after all the caviar escapade, we're gonna have some champagne. They also offer vodka with caviar, which is Russian tradition, but it's not my tradition, so we're gonna have champagne. And this time it's gonna be a Taittinger Conte Champagne Blanc de Blanc Grand Cru from 2007. So I say cheers and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Cheers. And we're continuing with the soup, and here we're having pork soup. That's quite something. So actually there's some pork meat in there, and then there's not pasta or something like that, but it's snow mushrooms, white snow mushrooms. So that's gonna be really interesting, and it's really good. And you know, I'm tasting Asia here. We're flying to New York from Frankfurt, but I'm tasting Asia. That's really awesome. well, as good as the soup is and as nice as the satay is, the garlic bread is not super fresh. It's crunchy kind of, but the time it was in the oven is already some hours ago. Quite a lot of hours, I guess, because it's almost tasting a little old. I'm sure it's not old, but it tastes like it. Now the popular question before the main course: how did I book the flight and how much did it cost? A one-way ticket from Frankfurt to New York currently costs around $6,300 in the Singapore first class suites and a bit over $10,000 round trip. If you don't want to spend so much money, you can also book with miles. However, first class is usually not accessible to the programs of other Star Alliance airlines and can only be booked through the company's own Krisflyer program. But Amex is a partner of Singapore Airlines in many countries and you can transfer Amex points to Krisflyer. The flight adds up to 86,000 miles for the saver fare and an unbelievable 140,000 miles for the standard fare. I was lucky enough to book one of the very rare saver tickets. In addition, the fees are very low as Singapore Airlines is one of the very few airlines that still don't pass the fees on to the customers. Now comes Book the Cook. With the main course, my happy mood dropped for a moment. Singapore Airlines advertises the Book the Cook program for business and first class. You can order specially prepared dishes outside of the regular menu. I ordered honey glazed duck and I was really excited. That went really wrong in my case. But I'm not so convinced right now. So, let's have a look at the main course. It looks a little disappointing, to be honest. And look at this. It also looks really, really dry. Look. That looks dry, doesn't it? No. You know, that's so dry, it's even hard to get down. And the, noodles in first class, I'm not convinced. The noodles that I cook taste better. Even Asian ones, I'm not Asian. Now I'm really, really disappointed. This is really not a nice dish. It's a nice dish for economy. It's a nice dish for business class, maybe, on a regional route. But this is not a nice dish for first class. It's like, not okay, I must say. At Singapore Airlines you can have a look at the in-flight menu about a week before the flight, and I had a look at the wine list, and it's not a very big wine list, to be honest. I just had a first class flight on Emirates and they're known for having the biggest wine selection of all airlines worldwide, and that's a really very impressive wine list. But here they have like really just 3 red wines. It's not very much for first class, but 2 of them are really nice and I want to show them to you. That's one Burgundy wine, a Bourgogne, and the other one is a Bordeaux wine. And here, this is the Burgundy wine. That's wait a moment, that's a 2014 Domaine Fèvre Clos de Vougeot Grand Cru. So a really nice wine. And this one here is a Bordeaux, and that's a 2007 Chateau Léoville Porphyry Saint-Julien from Bordeaux. And this is a really, it's not cheap at all, but it's much cheaper than the other one, but a really nice wine. And this one here is far away from cheap, but also wonderful. It smells already so beautifully. So now let's try the wines. First this one, this is the Bordeaux. Very nice, very round, quite light maybe, but I'm also here in the air, so you never know. It's a really nice wine. And now let's try the Burgundy wine. A very special one, we have to say, we have to know that. And also, I mean, really good. Of course, it's different from the Bordeaux, not so much, to be honest. I'm not the specialist, but I can enjoy it. And it's a little maybe thinner. You cannot say thinner. I mean, all the wine specialists will kill me now. But it's very round still and very nice flavor. However, to be honest, I don't taste 200 euros or $200. But I leave that up to the wine specialists. So since the duck dish was a little too dry to really eat up, I asked for something else and I got this. This is in wheat beer braised beef cheeks. So that's beef cheeks, or one cheek, or actually a quarter of a cheek, I guess. And then 2 potato dumplings and 2 carrots and some broccoli. It looks like a real German dish. So let's find that out. And yeah, it's better than the duck, I guess. So that's already very soft. That's nice. Super soft and really tasty. I wouldn't say that it's amazing. My God, I'm so picky now. I'm flying first class and I really appreciate, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to fly first class here. Really, I am. But still, I'm from a region of Germany where food is generally very, very good. I just realized it when I left my hometown. And my hometown is Passau in Lower Bavaria. And if you ever have the chance to get to Germany or to Bavaria in Germany, go to Passau. It's a little in the corner of Bavaria, but it's really worth it. It's one of the most beautiful towns of Europe. And really, nobody knows it, but it's true. And I don't say that because I'm from there, but because I traveled all over Europe, and it's still one of the most beautiful towns of Europe. And food there is spectacular. It's so cheap, but it's so good. And this is good, but it would fail in my hometown. However, on airline, this is still very good.
The Singapore Airlines crew on this flight was among the best I have ever experienced. During the break, they allowed me to take a look at the business class, and of course without disturbing other passengers, and the cabin looked really great. Later this year I will be able to fly several times in their business class, and of course there will be separate reports on that, but with this first impression I'm really looking forward to it. The seats look very comfortable and are generously wide with a correspondingly wide bed surface, and they can also be converted into kind of a double bed. They also look pretty chic.
And now we're having some sweet dessert, and that's gonna be a chocolate tart. And with it we're gonna have 20-year-old Tawny Port that already smells quite promising. Well, to be honest, Emirates has 40-year-old port wine in first class, 20-year-old in business class. But anyway, the strength of Singapore Airlines seems to be the space of this cabin. I mean, this is just ridiculously crazy. Even if it's not with the partition wall lowered, it's still a really nice, really big cabin. So I'm actually really, really full. Of course I am, and it's quite good actually that I don't have an endless selection of food, because somehow they ask you to select one choice per course. So it's not like maybe somewhere else where you can have like a couple of choices per course. And I was just interested in how the cheese platter looks like, and it's pretty kind of minimal, I would say. Minimal would be the word, I guess. At the same time, I want to say how incredibly grateful I am to be sitting here, to have the privilege to sit here. I'm so aware of this. And I mean, there's a war going on in Ukraine, and I'm sitting here and talk about cheese. I mean, yeah, just to put it into relation. Since this is a first class flight report, I have to add it. It's a very minimal cheese platter. And now we're having a little seat tour, and actually it's not really a seat tour, it's a whole cabin tour, because look at the space, it's just incredibly big, so much space. But anyway, let's start with the seat. Now this is my seat, very nice leather seat of Poltrona Frau, and if you have one little downturn, so that might be that you have to turn the seat by the push of a button. You cannot turn it yourself, so that's really such a downturn. No, you play a little carousel. Look at this, isn't it cute? And then we can have a look at the TV, and the TV folds up towards you also on by the push of a button, so you can look directly to the TV set. You don't need to look at an angle. And then there's the table over here. Just open it up like this, very easily, by the way. You fold it out like this, you can turn it, you can move it around like you want, as you want, and the great thing is you can even get up even with a full table. Even if it's full of food, you can still get up because it's so flexible. It all looks a little like white marble, not like wood imitation, but like marble. So that's quite nice too, for a change. And then we have a look at the other side, because here we have all the compartments. Of course we have power sockets over here and USB slots and so on. And then we have these very nice compartments with leather and a vanity mirror, and more compartments down there and more down here. And then you can open and close the windows here at the push of a button also, but also individually if you like. So, and then comes the last highlight, and that's the wardrobe, and that's really quite stunning too. Look at this, hangers, lots of space for your bags. Then there's another mirror and more compartments over here for your stuff. So, and I mean, look at this, that's hard to beat.
And now another highlight of Singapore Airlines First Class, the amenities. First of all, you get really nice and very comfortable pajamas by the luxury brand Lalique, the airline's current amenity partner. Then there's black large slippers and rather standard sleeping mask and socks. In addition, there's this really chic amenity kit by Lalique, quite sturdy and in black faux leather. The contents are a bit different from what you normally see, as it's rather for after the flight. First, there's a scented candle that says explicitly that it must not be lit on the plane. Who would have thought that? Then there's a soap bar, body lotion and lip cream. Face cream, perfume, toothbrush and comb are not included. However, you'll find basic amenities in the drawers of the first class bathrooms, while eau de toilette and facial tonic are only available in open bottles. All in all, these are very nice amenities.
So here we are in the lavatory for the first class, and it's really spacious here. I mean, they don't have the shower like Emirates or as Etihad used to have on the A380, but it's a lot of space. You have a little beauty corner here. You can sit down and look at yourself, admire yourself, or just be angry about the pounds you gained during the COVID crisis. And there's more mirror over here. You know, I mean, it's really nice. It's a lot of space, and I would say space is the actual luxury.
Doesn't need to be amazing, but space is already quite something. And this here is beautiful. And now we're getting to the amazing part. Now look at this. I mean, I'm sure this lighting here is not charming at all for me, but this cabin totally is. I mean, look at this. I can do acrobatics if I like, and I never do that at home, so finally I get to do some sports. But yeah, I mean, I cannot get more happy than this. This is just beyond amazing. Oh well, it's so beautiful and so nice here. You know, if I didn't hear the engines and if I didn't feel that it's a plane, I wouldn't think it's a plane, because it's like a nice hotel room. And you see the partition is just this big, you can just roll over. It's a real double bed, so nice. But for you who wonder, the doors are quite high actually, maybe 5 to 6 feet. But there's holes in the door, and you can also look over the doors if you really go very high and look over it if you're tall, so you can see through. So those of you who might have, let's say, irregular thoughts, forget about them, you can look in here. But anyway, this is so beautiful, so nice, and I think nothing is as large and generous as this. It's so impressive.
Before we're having a snack, here's a few words about the entertainment program at Singapore Airlines. The flight show is not very interactive, but the selection of international movies and series is enormous, including entire seasons of series. The selection in the music library is just as huge. You won't get bored here even with a connection to the other side of the world. The remote control is not very intuitive though, and it took me a while to understand it. Watching movies in bed on a plane is of course fun with this big screen, but if you like to look out of the window, it's not ideal because the screen is on the inside wall. Looking outside and watching TV at the same time is hardly possible. The sound comes from Bang & Olufsen, their noise-cancelling headphones, and of course very good. You'll hardly hear the outside noise and you can enjoy your movie and music. Now that I've mentioned often enough how incredibly big and great this cabin is, I have to say that it's generally a shame that you only have 2 windows per seat. The first row is a little less ideal even, since the first window starts slightly behind the seat. But you have almost the feeling of being on a large private jet. You don't hear anything from other passengers, even though 4 out of the 6 seats were occupied on my flight.
So, 6 hours have passed, 1.5 hours to go, and finally I'm having some time for myself. I just stopped filming for this video, and I will enjoy the next hour for myself. I'm watching 2 Broke Girls, and I'm having taco, that's the snack before landing, and I'm having some Comte de Champagne from Taittinger, and actually they have a policy of only 1 glass of champagne at a time, but now they made an exception, I think because it's shorter landing. So I got also the other glass of Perignon 2008. Just want to tell you again how happy I am and how grateful that you're here, that you're watching, you're part of the team. Thank you so much, dear Travel Thing Flyers. Cheers to you.
Another 10 minutes or 5 minutes
Well, actually, I thought I was already done filming for today, but this chocolate dessert is quite something. It's really worth filming because it's a combination of a very dense mousse au chocolat and a chocolate sorbet, and then some, I would say, confit of cherries. It goes so perfectly with the chocolate, of course, and then some, I don't know, chocolate crumble, chocolate something dough. That's also very nice for the texture. So it makes up for the failures, almost for the failures of the main course. I'm pretty impressed.
After so much enthusiasm, there's yet another important issue: their customer service before the flight. It's easy to get the feeling that the airline's Krisflyer customers are on their own after booking, even in first class. If you need to change something and cannot do it online, you have to call Krisflyer's customer service, and they are only in Singapore. The German employees can only book regular tickets, and like normal customers, they can only send emails to Singapore regarding redemption bookings, which are only answered days later. I had several questions and needed to change something urgently at short notice, and the result was a total of over 10 hours in the call center queue, while getting through only once after 110 minutes. Important questions could never be clarified in time, and availability is sometimes gone before the service processes an inquiry. I'm flying Singapore Airlines several more times this year, and I'm really worried about that point. The fact that even customers in the premium classes are left out in the rain is bizarre at first, and at second glance can hardly be excused, especially as a top airline.
And we are approaching New York JFK Airport. Now, what to say about Singapore Airlines first class suites? That's quite a product, I would say. But what are the cons and what are the pros? Now, first of all, I would say the big pro, the big advantage here is the crew. The staff here is really so very, very friendly. I mean, of course, they're trained to be friendly to the passenger, especially in first class, but in all classes, of course. But here they also think with you, they're proactive. I mean, they saw that I would like to film, or I told them I would like to film during the flight, and they were really proactive, thinking what I could do, or asking me if they want me to take pictures or something like that. So that was really nice. Of course, it's also an advantage for the airline if I do nice pictures of the plane. But some airlines or some crew just don't allow that. And here they were just very, very helpful with everything. And then the other big pro, of course, the big advantage of this first class suites is the space. They are really suites. I mean, many airlines call their seats suites because you can close the door, but then there's only a seat. Actually, it's not a suite, it's still a seat with a door. Anyway, this here is almost a suite, I would say, because you have a bed, you have a chair, you have a desk, and you have this little thing, and your windows you can look out from, you can turn around, just look out the window. So this is almost like a room, almost like a little hotel room, and this is so special, and I think there's nothing like this at the moment on the market. So that makes it all very, very special. But what are the cons? Well, I would say the catering is not so amazing. The main course was not first class at all. I was really disappointed and actually surprised, almost shocked, by what the cook dish was like, because that was dry and not okay at all. I would cook so much better myself at home. So that's not first class at all. But the dessert again was really very good, so it almost made up for it. And the wine selection was not big. It's not a big selection of wines, but at least the two wines that I tasted were good. They were of very good quality. Of course, they were also high value, but it was not a big selection, not a wide selection. Champagnes were good. There was a selection of 2 champagnes. They were both good. So altogether, I would say amazing is the staff, amazing is the cabin, mediocre is the catering, unfortunately, and that would be so easy to change. I hope they will do that, or maybe I just had bad luck today. Anyway, I'm so happy that I chose Singapore Airlines because I felt a little bit like in Asia, although I'm going from Frankfurt to New York.
So my dear ones, we've landed in New York JFK. I hope you enjoyed this detailed and very honest report about the Singapore Airlines first class suites, and if so, then give me your thumbs up, leave a few words in the comments and subscribe to the channel right now with the bell next to it. That would be fantastic, and then you'll know right away when there's something new again. There are many exciting airline and travel reports waiting for you, so stay healthy, stay tuned, and see you again very soon here at Travel Sing Fly.